said, we would like to share some news and trends from Ignite and MMS Miami. And some of you, I mean, most of you are most likely familiar with MMS, and some of you are also familiar with the latest edition, and all of you are familiar with Ignite as a conference, I guess. Let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Kent. My background for being here is I've been in the industry for many, many years. Been attending these conferences for a long time, and always waiting to see, what direction is it that Microsoft wants to take us. And I mean, this year it's AI all over.
AI and AI.
all over the place. And we just want to share a few things and do a few demos for those of you who kind of missed it. And we're kind of combining both of these conferences here. And alongside with me, I have my colleague.
And I have, as you can see on the picture, not been in the industry as long as Kent. He's the old guy here, but working in the whole Azure and infrastructure field, coming from a background in the data center and so on, and going around with Kent, speaking around cloud transformation projects, and have had the pleasant journey with Kent in Miami for the MMS.
Cool. So let's get to it, because you're not here to hear an introduction of me and Andreas. So just to set the scene, as I said, we're covering two conferences here, and typically Ignite, that's the flagship, right? From Microsoft, that's where they cover all topics, what's going to happen in the years to come, and also set the scene for the next couple of years. I know back in, I think it was in 2018 or 2019, they were announcing autopilot, and I know 5 years later, some of you have just started on that journey, and that's what Ignite is all about. Set the direction and figuring out what we're going to do. MMS, on the other hand, is another form of conference, super important for the community, and this is where we dig deep into all of the technologies. So typically a session at MMS would be an hour and 15 minutes of deep dive into a technology, and then 30 minutes of discussion and Q&A, and making sure that we all see eye to eye and understand the technologies that we have been covering. So it's a lot of interaction. MMS is also a place where the Microsoft developers are attending. So as an attendee, you have the opportunity to sit down with a developer. They will actually open the code. Sometimes they will make changes to the code while you're on site in a cabana. And if you have, questions onto, why is it working like this, or you might have a bug, or, whatever you have, you can always sit down and then discuss that with the developers. And there is no other way on other place on the planet I have seen this. So that's pretty neat. And as Andreas said, we were fortunate enough to have a session at 8 sessions at MMS on everything M365. That's primarily me, and Andreas Azure. So what was the topic of this year here, and it was as I wrote in here, the cat is really out of the bag, because this is the new Death Star, as we call it. This I'm pretty sure some of you have seen this. You have Microsoft Copilot in the center of everything. So typically back in the days, before Ignite and MMS, we would say, well, you have your governance, your infrastructure in the center of everything. Now it's really Copilot. And I'm going to give you a few demos on Modern Work Copilot, Microsoft 365. And I know most of you, probably some of you have seen it, but most of you most likely haven't had the opportunity to play with the technology. Some of the Copilot, the security Copilot, that one is not yet available, and it will become available in a private preview very soon, one you can sign up to, and so on and so forth. That was actually also announced in here. But let me see if I can get some stuff over here. So this is my tenant, and for Copilot, I just wanna show you a few things in here. So first of all, I really like my boss. So when writing a new mail, I can go in here and then I can say, oh, why do I have that? Is that the wrong? Just want to see if that's the wrong tenant.
It's the right tenant.
It is the right tenant. Okay. So let me just okay. So I'll just draft my mail here with Copilot. So what I want to say in here is, okay. What I want to say in here is, dear boss, even better, please write a mail to my manager telling her how much I really, and I don't really have to, spelling and so on, doesn't really matter, like her style of managing, and she's a true inspiration. By the way, I have a job interview coming up with her very soon. So I'll just go ahead and generate this. And then it's just going to generate the draft in here. And if if I'm happy with this, I'll just go ahead and keep it and then send that, right? So that's maybe not the best mail, but you get the point, right? It's definitely a start. Another really cool thing I like, now here you can see I've just been chatting with myself. That's how I am. That's a bit pathetic actually, but you all have these mails where 10, 14, 40 people are just contributing, and you kind of lost it. You go like, I've been away for 2 days. What's this mail really all about? So I can do a summary. So right now it's just reading through all of my mails in here, and then it's doing a summary of what's actually in this mail here. So so for the Outlook, it's a really cool start. I can definitely see myself saving some work in here, especially the summary piece here is super neat. If I go to one of the other applications that we have, Word, for instance, and then in here, just let it let it load. And then again up here, I have my Copilot. It starts up with my Copilot, but in here I can say, please write a 2-page document on why Liverpool FC is the best football club in the world. And I can also add in, what if I want a specific style. So so if I want it to be in a TED Talk style, for instance, and then just go ahead and generate this. So right now it will fetch whatever information it can fetch, write me a 2-page document. Pretty neat, and it's definitely writing faster than me. Once this is done, the next step would obviously be to say, okay, so not only do I need to turn in my document here, but I also know people are not reading documents, so I need to turn whatever I have in here into a PowerPoint deck, right? But let's just finish it up, and it's finishing up with a conclusion here. I want to keep this. I'm super happy. Couldn't have done it better myself. Now, let me just close this document here, and let me start just want to one thing here. Where do I have my PowerPoint? I just want to see my links. So my content here. So for the next demo here, I came prepared. So I already, I had the Copilot write this. So I'm just going to copy the link here of a document that I have, and then I'm going to turn into PowerPoint. And in PowerPoint, I'm going to create a blank presentation. And when I'm creating a blank presentation, just let it load for a few seconds here. Once again, just needs to load everything. I just needed to load my code here. You can see, I don't know if you saw that, but I just needed it to load my Copilot. So it's still loading the presentation in here. So when I click on Copilot here, just give it a few seconds, I can say, well, I would like to create a presentation from a file. And then I just paste in the link to that document and say, please go ahead and create a presentation, based on this. What it's going to do now is it's going to analyze the document. It's going to figure out, how many slides do I really need. It's also going to figure out what content from the document would actually make a good fit in my notes page. So so here it looks like it's going to generate like 6-7 slides in here. And once it's done with that, it will guide me and say, okay, so you want to add any graphics? Do you want to add in any styles, and so on and so forth? So in very little time, I went from having absolutely nothing, and then to have a PowerPoint deck in here that I can share with the world, and host a little session about why is this such a great football club here. This to me, and this is just a few of the examples that we can do with Copilot. I know a lot have been asking, can we get a license? Can we get a trial license? And as it is right now, you need 300 licenses.
300 seats.
Yeah, 300 seats before you actually get your license here. But it is super neat. And I mean, lots of different other examples when you move into Teams, to Excel, obviously also, and some of the other M365 applications there. Yeah, and I can also summarize this, and there's just a ton of stuff that I can do in here. So,
but really see AI in everything,
Yeah.
in everything that's talked about at both MMS and Ignite, and
Yeah.
whatever we see.
Yeah.
One
of the sessions I know that you attended was it was Trent talking about AI and
security and what you can do there, and how easily you can get AI to help you suggest on how you can improve various security things and incidents and so on.
Yeah. Super interesting. and it's like, I just want to get my hands on this. And now the tenant that I was showing you was not, my two-day tenant here. It was just a trial tenant. So I would love to see 24 years of mail going going through Copilot there. I can't wait to get my hands on that. There's been a ton of announcements, just like there always is. But what we have done here is we just looked at some of the cool announcements that we know will have an impact on the work that we do, and also the work that most of you are doing as well. Some of them are smaller, but the Intune suite, it's not like the Intune suite is new. The Intune suite has been around for at least a year by now, but they announced at MMS, and they followed up on that announcement at Ignite, what's going to be included in the February release of the Intune suite. And one of the things we'll see in here is the Cloud PKI. not that easy to say. And why the cloud PKI, in my opinion, is interesting is because it's really the last piece on-prem. Andreas, you and I have had lots of discussions with customers that want to modernize and want to migrate, off on-prem. And every single time we run into certificates, we have a challenge. And it's not like we don't know that there are third-party cloud certificate vendors out there, because there is. But most of our customers, they want to have a native solution here. So the challenge we are facing here and that we are solving is definitely that PKI is on-prem. It's complex infrastructure. It is complex. I mean, every single time we have something called from a customer about certificates, it's always, something was not renewed. We don't know how this skip in this is working. Certificates are not being distributed, and so on and so forth. So it literally takes time. With the cloud PKI in here, the entire infrastructure is hosted by Microsoft. So what we will do is we will quote unquote just be creating the policies. We don't really have to worry about the infrastructure. So that part is pretty neat. And as I said, we have had many customers asking about something like this. So this is coming, and this is it's something we've been waiting for, because it's something that they have talked about for quite a while. Yeah. And here, by the way, when you get the slide deck, we have links to all the articles where they go a little deeper, because there is no way we can go deep in just 45-60 minutes on all of these.
Yeah. If we look at the Azure part, especially from the infrastructure part, let's say there wasn't super many things on the regular infrastructure part in Azure, because a lot of things is really AI. But one of the really big hot topics is definitely the whole hybrid cloud, or what Microsoft now brands as the adaptive cloud, where we want to bring the capabilities of our cloud infrastructure into any location, meaning on-premise, meaning another cloud than Microsoft Cloud, being edge devices and so on, is a big ask for many customers. And especially we see a large interest in manufacturing companies or energy sector companies that want to utilize cloud, where edge is really key. So Microsoft is definitely putting a lot of effort in here, and there was many great announcements, and there is many great things in the roadmap for bringing the power of the Microsoft Enterprise Cloud Azure into any location. Some of the announcements that we saw was things like enhanced support for SQL Server management with Arc. So being able to monitor SQL servers anywhere in a seamless, unified way, being able to control our failover capabilities and disaster recovery management in any location, and the patch cycles around our SQL servers. Also for older versions of SQL Server, so 2012, 2012.2, also for Windows Server, we see the extended security updates enabled through an extension in Azure, where Azure is helping bringing the security for legacy versions down to the on-premises. Another big thing was the Azure Arc enabled VMware vSphere and System Center Virtual Machine Manager, bringing management of virtual machines hosted in either VMware or Hyper-V VMM into Azure, giving the developers or anybody else the capability of provisioning everything they need from the Azure portal, even though it's in the on-prem data center or another cloud. The next extension, of course, is the Azure Stack AGI. We have Azure Stack AGI 22H2 is generally available right now, but one of the announcements was the preview for the 23H2, which will be GA by start of 2024. And that release really brings a lot of the gaps between the on-prem Azure Stack AGI and the cloud environment into that release, with full cluster deployment from the cloud, full cluster patch management from the cloud, and provisioning of virtual machines directly natively in the Azure portal using Bicep templates, using ARM templates, using PowerShell into that release. So that's going to be a really, really important release. The last thing that we've been waiting for on a long time is the Azure Update Manager, which also brings a unified cloud-native update manager for patching our Windows and Linux servers, as well as SQL workloads in a single unified console and management experience, without the need of a log analytics agent or log analytics workspace, Azure automation accounts, and all that was in the older version, but just natively directly in Azure.
I don't even know how long it has been in a preview, the update manager.
A few years, but now it's here.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool feature, and it's a really easy to get started on that. You just create your maintenance windows, and then you're ready to start rolling, basically.
And it's something I run into, I wouldn't say every day, but at least once or twice a week. As you know, I've been working with Configuration Manager for the past 24 years. And it's been easy because customers have been able to manage their servers and their workstations from within the same console. But now with clients being migrated into to Intune, what do we do with our servers? And some are keeping their servers in SCCM just for patching reasons, which it works. It's fine. SCCM is not going anywhere. There was also one of the announcements at MMS, very important. There was a full slide there during I think it was State of the Union that Config Manager is not going anywhere. It's just an alternative, just like Intune and Azure Update Manager is another set of alternatives there.
Can just bring it up here real quickly to give you
we're not
view. So this is how it looks, Update Manager. The only thing that is required is that the machine is either an Azure virtual machine or is onboarded with the Azure Arc agent. Once that is in place, you can actually get the automated assessment and automated schedules, so we can easily go in, get a view of all the machines that's connected. We can see if we have enabled the periodic assessment, so we get results. We can also see if they are related to a patch schedule, and if they are compliant and no pending updates. One of the things that I really like is that, let's say, oh, I have this server, it has 4 pending updates. Let me update it. I need to click one button, click next, until should I reboot or not? Reboot if required. And 4 clicks later, my machine is now patching and rebooting, and I don't need to do anything here. So that's really neat. It's a super easy way of get that running. Otherwise, if you want it to be scheduled, you create what's called the maintenance configuration, where you define what patches do you want to install and when do you want it to happen. Then it runs on that schedule automatically and is executing the patches. What I know is in the roadmap is post and pre-scripts. So if you want something to be done before or afterward, then that will be a feature that is on the roadmap.
And you want that.
And you want that.
Trust me, I've been patching a lot of servers in the past year. So let me share my screen again. Am I on that one there? So let's just wait a few seconds. I know there might be a little delay there. So that's Azure Arc, and we see more and more features coming to Azure Arc, and that's also super important because We are, literally today we are managing thousands and thousands of servers. We need another alternative here. So that makes perfectly good sense. Now, I did talk about the Intune suite before, and I picked the Cloud PKI. Another one is the application management. And application management is also announced, and it will also be part of the February release. And the challenge is, and that's really, it's interesting and frustrating at the same time. And I don't know if this number, 78% of devices, it was from a report I read, remain unpatched 9 months after a patch, fixing a critical vulnerability is released. I don't know if it's that high. And to be honest, I also do not care if it's 78 or if it's 68 or 58. That's way too high. I know it's not because we don't want to patch. I know it's not because we don't understand it's important. Most of the customers that we go to, it's lack of insights and processes. We know we need to patch Adobe Reader, but we are low on resources. We don't have the manpower to do so. And obviously there are third-party solutions. There's, fantastic third-party solutions out there. You have Flexera, you have Patch My PC, and there is at least 4 or 5 great alternatives. I've been working with all of them in the past 15 years or so. But I've also come across a lot of customers where they go, yeah, but it's not a built-in native Microsoft solution. And then more than once, I've been asked by customers, so Ken, is Microsoft ever going to do anything similar to this? And every single time I've said, nope, I don't ever believe that Microsoft is going to do this, because why would they take responsibility of maintaining a catalog of third-party applications? So when they started working on this a year and a half ago, maybe, I was actually, okay, I might be a bit old, but I'm not old enough to not learn new things, every now and then. And I'm super eager to see this because this is going to be this is built in natively into the Intune Admin Center. The catalog that we have right now, during MMS, they announced that there are about 30 apps core apps in the catalog as it is right now, but obviously that's going to grow. And it was super easy to go in and say, okay, I know I have Adobe Reader out there, I have some of the other apps out there. I just want to make sure that they are kept up to date. So very, very anxious to see this when it's being released in February, and it's something every single customer needs to have. If not the application management from within the Intune suite, then one of the other third-party vendors. There is no way, I'll repeat that until the day I die. There is no way a single person can keep up with this, especially not if you have the ability to elevate yourself to become a local administrator. And we see that, in so many organizations. Are you local administrators? No. But then, a lot of you have this little utility where you can go in and say, okay, now I want to become a local administrator. And the moment that happens, that's the moment where you totally lose control of your third-party apps. We see that 100 out of 100 times. So there's no way a single person can keep up.
Third-party applications is always the top issues when we look at the Defender reports.
Yeah. If you just take a look at the exposure score, I mean, the exposure score, as will show you, how exposed is your endpoints there to vulnerabilities, and it looks at configurations. You have already heard about attack surface reduction rules. Most of you are doing a really great job there, but the apps, yeah, that's a different story. So this is definitely going to be interesting. And I know some of you now will say, okay, so what about the price and so on and so forth? It's part of the bundle. So the bundle is $10. That's what has been announced. per user per month. And period. But you can purchase most of these apps, Cloud PKI, application management, EPM, and what have you as separate products. But the value is when you buy the bundle, definitely, and if you can get rid of some of the other alternatives that you have. So let's see. It's early days, but it's definitely one of the things that I highly encourage everybody to test out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike is saying weird noises. So another big announcement from Ignite is SCOM management, and so the old System Center Operations Manager, which has been around for many years as a part of the System Center suite, is now finally available as a cloud native solution. So if any of you have been ever trying to maintain and have a SCOM environment, to keep that alive is half of the work, just to keep the whole platform alive with the database management, data warehouse management server patching, scaling, and all that. Now you can get rid of all the tedious maintenance around the platform and just buy it as a click on one button service in Azure and get all the same features as you have in good old-fashioned System Center Operations Manager. You can use all the same agents, you can use all the same management packs, you can use the same console, all the same third-party apps. You just don't need to maintain all the infrastructure part. So this is a really exciting one. It's been waiting for many years. I've heard about it 4 years ago the first time, I think, in the private channels, but now it's finally here, and we are starting the first deployments next week again, actually, in production for this service. So a really cool thing for infrastructure monitoring. There is really nothing that can beat a good old-fashioned health monitor in Operations Manager. So really looking forward to see that coming out and where it's gonna take us and the capabilities of Azure Monitor and workload monitoring. Yeah, that's a really cool one.
Neat. So just like SCCM, SCOM is not going away. It's just a new shape here. That's interesting. That's super interesting. A lot of customers are still obviously using SCOM.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have something called the Windows app, and the Windows app is the challenge I added in here is like, okay, so easy access to my cloud PC, so my Windows 365 device, my AVD devices, my AVD streamed apps, and so on and so forth, and then just convenience. So Microsoft just released an app, and I have it. Let me just see if I can drag it over here. And it's not like, I mean, I wouldn't fly, all the way to US just to see this announcement here. But it's kind of cool. So I've signed in, and here I have access, to my Windows 365 cloud PC. I have access to my AVD machine. Here I see a list of all the apps that has been granted me, and I can go in here, and then I can go ahead and say, I would like to pin this to my homepage, and that's what I've done up here. So that's why I have my Windows 365, and I have my my PowerPoint here. So neat little, and I'm just launching PowerPoint here, but then that's from a demo environment, so it takes a few seconds here. But neat little app, and I don't want to sign in here. It doesn't really matter.
It makes it much more user-friendly to use AVD. It's much more friendly and unified.
Absolutely. It just makes it so much easier. I don't have to. I mean, I love the fact that I can go in and just use any browser and so on and so forth. But most users they need something, and this looks pretty, and pretty is important.
Otherwise, people don't want to use it.
That's how it is. Pretty is important. Cool.
The last thing I want to say a few words on and show a bit about is Azure OpenAI, because Copilot is powered by all of this behind it. So Copilot in the various flavors is more or less just Azure OpenAI packaged and configuration for us, so we can use it straight away. But Azure OpenAI is really, really cool, and it's the whole OpenAI stack delivered in Azure. So what is the difference between, if let's say, OpenAI ChatGPT, when I go directly into openai.com, and Azure OpenAI? So the real big difference here is that in Azure, you can have a controlled environment. So Azure gives you all the guardrails, all the capabilities of building responsible AI, building the necessary logging, building the necessary rules around what you can ask AI to help you with and what you can ask AI to do. But it also gives you the power to build your own copilots. So build an AI engine on top of your own data set, your own documentation or whatever. And I actually did this today. So let me just share my screen quickly. I have had absolutely no hands on this before today, and it literally spent 15 minutes on this demo here. Azure OpenAI is in a gated access right now, due to resource constraints, I think, in the various data centers. So if you want to play with OpenAI in Azure, you need to fill out a form and tell Microsoft why you need to want to try it. Then it takes a few hours, and then you have access. But in Azure, I have a resource group here where I just built an OpenAI service. And if I open that, I can just go directly to my Azure OpenAI Studio. Takes it a second. And in here, I just was, okay, can I create a copilot for all our documentation with my own data? Let me try that. So I actually just prepared a little deployment environment here. Let me just open my chat playground. And the only thing I did here was to open my chat playground, go in and say, add my own data source. I uploaded all our Markdown documentation to our storage account. So just took everything in our documentation folder and uploaded with the Azure Storage Explorer. Go in and say what content do you want to use? I want to use this Azure Blob Storage. What documentation? This file upload folder. OpenAI needs a search engine, an AI search engine, to index all the data. So I just created an empty search index here. And then I need a name for the index. And then I can tell it, should this just be a one-time thing, or do I want to schedule this? I just say, make this hourly. Just need to agree that this cost me money. Search type, now I took a lower pricing tier, so I can just say keywords. I just say next, and then say save and close. And that's it. Then it just takes 5 minutes to run the indexing service on all my data. I'll just leave that out here because it is boring waiting time to look at. Then with my dataset added, just clear my chat here. Then the next thing I did was, okay, I just tested it out. Can I say here, what is the naming convention for us Azure subscription? Oh, it didn't find that. That sounds right. Like the data set is not applied correctly here. Oh, there it was. Now it figured out that we have some naming convention for how we want to tell tiers and so on.
But that was actually the right answer when we were asking customers. So what is your naming convention? Silence.
So I know that the data is working and so on. Then the next thing I did was just say deploy to a web app. And it's just one button here. Where do you want to deploy a web app? Then it pulls out a turnkey Python web app from GitHub, add AD authentication on top of it, and creates a site for me. So now I have this site here I can go into and then start to ask my documentation. So what permissions can I get in the production environment? And then it actually go and searches our documentation and the different environment definitions. So it goes here and say that in the production environment, access is very limited and primarily assigned at resource group. Users usually only get reader access in production and pre-production because all deployment must be done via pipelines. And that's actually our policies here. And then I can go and see references and see, okay, how do you get to this result? And then I can get the raw documentation and see where did they get this information from. So it's really, really cool. And I had no experience with this prior today or prior an hour ago.
This is really a game changer because we have been doing a lot of work in Azure and also in M365, and we always deliver full documentation with everything we do. And still, customers are contacting us, after, which is, please keep on doing that. And sometimes, just sometimes, it's the question is, how can we do this? Or what are the guardrails here? Where our answer is, well, you actually have that in your documentation already.
Exactly.
But we all know the number one answer I hate when I ask a question, that is, have you looked in SharePoint? SharePoint? That's where all good words, they go to die. It's like it's impossible to find anything in most SharePoint environments for many good reasons.
Oh yeah.
This is a game changer because it's so easy.
It is so easy, and I mean the ability just to click one button and then you have a web page with a Copilot engine where you can ask it anything without knowing anything. I don't know anything about Python or anything. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So
you literally took all of our information and just added there.
And now I can ask. And now I have my own CTGlobal Copilot based on all our documentation.
Cool. That is so neat. So next time I'm not going to read the documentation. I'm just going to ask you to type in a question. That's perfect. I mean, this is. I mean, one thing is when we, when new features are announced and so on and so forth. But just like you saw with the M365 Copilot there, and that's exactly the same we see here. You actually get, it has an immediate impact, or can have an immediate impact here. There is no doubt about that. Okay, so let me share my screen. So we are back here to the slide deck, and just hang on a few more minutes. A lot of announcements, as I said in the beginning. We're not going to cover all of them, just the ones that we found most interesting right now. So the other one that I found is the Windows 365. I've been working with cloud PCs, pretty much ever since it was released. Been in many good discussions with customers about, should we be using Windows 365 or should we be using Azure Virtual Desktop? And to me, it's never, one or the other. In most environments, it will always be, you need both. There's absolutely nothing wrong in having both. That will most likely, be the only way you can cover all of your use cases. But one of the use cases has definitely been, what I call off here, the limited offering in Windows 365 when we look at hardware. So now they just announced GPU support, and here we just have a couple of them. So we can now probably safely say, okay, so if you are a developer, if you are working with resource-intensive graphics and so on and so forth, maybe now you can go in and work with that. Before this, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, it would be an Azure Virtual Desktop recommendation. So just a small little thing here, but super important to me. And another thing that I've been, that I've heard a lot over the last 12 months is, so Windows 365 is awesome, and it is awesome. It's super easy to set up. There are a lot of use cases for Windows 365, but sometimes the feature set is just a bit limited. So we saw the announcement of new features, like security features like enable watermarking, screen capture protection options. We have the RDP short path for performance optimization, and so on and so forth. So the key takeaway here is literally, this is a technology seeing a huge uptake in the Windows 365 adoption, and Microsoft are super committed to engineer more features in here, because we obviously need more features. Besides that, because we had to kind of limit ourselves. For those of you who have not seen the Ignite Book of News, you really have to go in and see this. So here you have, everything, some of the things that we have covered, that we have turned into demos, and obviously we couldn't cover everything. So some of the things that we haven't covered is the intro pieces. And there are some super interesting things down here, like, conditional access, where we can automatically create conditional access policies based on the signals we get in here. So we know conditional access is super important, maybe the most important part when we are starting our zero trust journey, because it all begins with identities. And if we don't have that in control, then there's a long way home.
Yeah, and especially when we combine our conditional access with the new services in intra-private access and in private internet access in the whole secure services edge, it's really, really one of the big security things that I think we will see just explode next year when it's released. Getting rid of all the legacy, large, broad VPN solutions, and get this per app security for everything. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, there's no doubt about. I mean, you need to look at all the Intra news, and you need to and everything in Intra keeps, they keep releasing new features, new ways of doing, old stuff. So it's super important to stay current. That actually brings us to top of the hour, and we know that your schedule is busy. So obviously we want to honor your time, and so on and so forth. So all we want to say is, from our part, MMS is definitely back. COVID is behind us. We saw a lot of people, a lot of engagement, a lot of interaction, ton of questions, a lot of great new sessions. Microsoft Ignite used to be, the #1 conference. Then COVID hit, and then we were down to 2 days, and so on and so forth. To me, it looks like we're back. Maybe adding a few more days, but let's see next year. It definitely looks promising.
It looks to be full scale next year, hopefully.
Yeah. And this is with that, just want to say, thanks for tuning in. This is the first of many of these webinars that we will be doing. Andreas and I will be the center. We'll be inviting some friends, sharing some news, because every day there are new releases. Every month there is a bunch of new releases, and we just want to keep you up to date with everything. So with that, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for today.
Yeah, and enjoy the evening. And if we have any Americans on board, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Cheers.
Thanks so much. Take care.